Okay, so now we have question 23 and 24, and this is from the SAT number 14. And what this is, we have a third question here. And question 23 says, the passage suggests that some scientists would agree with which statement about the domestication of cats. So what would some scientists say or agree with about the domestication of cats? And the way that we solve paired questions is typically we read 23, and then we're going to go through answer choices A, B, C, and D for 24. And we're first going to try to identify a text that could possibly answer this question here. Okay, and we know that sometimes 70 to 80% of the time, we should be able to do this and find one answer. And in the case when we're not able to narrow one specific line choice down, then we'll go back into this one and then come here. And we also know that, there's a little bit of back and forth. As much as we want to make it a linear process, there's a little bit of back and forth, recognition, a little bit of matching that's going to be going on. And there's just no getting around that. But for the most part, I'm going to try to show you how we can just choose the text here first, and then we'll be able to choose the text, the question from here. And so the way I'm going to start is I'm just going to start looking for a text that talks about something that scientists would agree with, right? So it's going to mention other scientists and sort of a general claim they might agree with. And we also know it has to be about the domestication of cats. Let's see if we can't figure out a text. So 25 through 28 says there, many scientists suspect they mostly domesticated themselves, with the friendliest ones able to take advantage of human data scraps and protection. So here, we need to make sure we check our references. So they is referring to the wildcats, right? Slunk out of the desert, and they mostly domesticated themselves. So the first thing that stands out to me is many scientists expect. This is going to match pretty good with what we want here, which is something that most scientists would agree with, or some scientists would agree with. Moreover, this is about the wildcats sneaking out of the deserts and into the villages and becoming domesticated cats. So this is about the domestication of cats. So for that reason, this is also a good choice. So we should definitely keep lines 25 to 28. 28 to 31 say, over thousands of years, cats shrank slightly in size and acquired a panoply of coat colors and patterns, etc., etc. Now, this one less directly talked about many scientists believing something, but it's kind of stacked right next to this question. So let's say that no answer choice matches with A here. Maybe a text will work, or an answer choice will work for this text, in which case we can make sort of the connection that, well, if many scientists believe this, maybe many scientists believe this. In any case, I say it's not as strong as A, but it could be the choice. And it does talk about the domestication of cats, the shrinking in size, etc. So I would keep B as well. 3134 says domestic animals from cows have undergone similar transformation, yet scientists know relatively little about the genes of dogs. This is probably not our text. We can eliminate this option. It does talk about something that scientists know, or in this case don't know, but it is something that many scientists are in agreement about. However, it's not about the domestication of cats. It's specifically about other domestic animals. So for that reason, we can get rid of these lines. Let's see. 44 through 48, we got a big jump, which is usually not a good sign. Usually the big jump, we end up away from the text that we want. And sure enough, this is just about the analysis published recently, revealed. It's just about the findings of it. And it's just not, it could be because, this is something that scientists would agree with, and maybe we can come back to it if we can't find it in the text, but we kind of left a little cluster of answer choices that are probably most likely to have our answer, and we're just into discussing the new finding, whatever. Probably not going to be this text. I would eliminate it for now, and then if we need to come back and revive it, we can. So now we have actually two answer choices, A and B. And A basically says that the wildcats domesticated themselves, right? They just snuck into town. Humans had anything to do with it. They domesticated themselves, right? And then this one says that that during the domestication they shrunk in size, they changed shape, etc., etc. So we can go through 23 now and look for any answer choices that will match those two that we just found. So A says it did not occur, domestication did not occur until after the domestication of cows and pigs. And none of the texts we just looked at talked about the different timeline between the domestication of cats and the domestication of cows and pigs. So for that reason, I would get rid of A. B says it caused cats to slightly increase in size. So we're talking about size and change in size that could match this text here. However, this text says that what cats shrank slightly in size. So that's not going to work because they shrank in size, they didn't increase in size. C says it was not intentionally undertaken by humans. Now this one could work because here this says that the cats mostly domesticated themselves, which basically says, hey, the humans didn't have anything to do with it. It wasn't that the humans wanted cats, it's just that the cats sort of snuck in, and the friendly ones were able to sort of take advantage of the human scraps, and that's how they eventually became domesticated. He says it resulted from humans' need for pets. This would go against what we already know because it sort of implies that there was intention, right? The humans needed pets, so they intentionally domesticated them. That's not what the text says. We can eliminate that. That means it's going to be C, and C matches with B, so we can eliminate A. And then we'll see two answers. Answer choice C, question 23, and answer choice B, question 24.